Manchester City vs Manchester United 8th of the 1st 2012 SelMcKenzie Selzer-McKenzie. Author D.Selzer-McKenzie. My tip: win for Manchester United. We have a great duel already in the third round of the English FA Cup since two town rivals meet in the reprise of the last year's semi-final from Manchester. Occupy this one by the way also in the Premiership after a 20 rounds, the first two positions in which City Centre is better, since it has 3 points more on the account. The Citizens has by the way in this last year's semi-final. This was celebratedly played at the Wembley with 1-0 as well as later in the final and have won this trophy. At the beginning of this season the current English master United has given something back with the victory of 3-2 and has won the Community Shields. The beginning, 8th of the 1st 2012. 14. But the charges of the coach Mancini have got this defeat but also all frustrations balancedly and to be more precise as them complete humbled oneself having the championship duel in the old Stratford Stadium with even 6-1 celebrated and there for the town rivals at the end of October from the previous seasons again. Mancini is, because it knows that its opponent will be motivated correctly even if the Citizens are in a little better form at the moment, a little afraid of this Sunday game just because of this great victory. You have got namely according to the two faults against WBA and Sunderland against which they have credited only a point, what is surely the confirmation that they are from the crisis out and to be more precise perhaps at the best possible moment, celebrated in the last round in the derby against Liverpool with even 3-0. But Mancini has problems with the game cadre at the same time. The meeting become Barry, then the hurt Hargreaves and Balotelli because of red card of the midfield players as well as the brothers Miss Colo and Iatolu with United. Colo and Iatolu have departed for the preparations for their national team of the Ivory Coast for the Africa Cup of the Nations. Straight Iatolu has been the decisive player at the meeting with Liverpool, therefore Mancini does not have any right substitute for it at this moment. Nasri then also still recovers from an uncomfortable injury and is not quite fit for all the 90 minutes. Because of this one also has announced a local coach certain Orso Excelungen in the midfield, where even also could play Zabaleta, because it must besides Nasri at least still keeping an offensive player at the bench, probably Johnson, to be able to react in the case of an uncomfortable situation carrying out adequately. Expected list: City Centre, Hard, Richards, Lescourt, Company, Clichy, Zabaleta, DeLong, Milner, Aguero, Silva, Dzeko. After they have even 5 victories behind each other and are compensated with the town rival finally at the top of the table, the footballers of Manchester United have played incomprehensibly in the last 2 rounds badly. You have defeats against Blackburn at home and Newcastle to guest experienced and to be more precise with even 6 collected goals against own team. Of course it is hard at this moment to explain what has happened to this team in such short time which has credited 2 great victories of 5-0 each in the 2 rounds in front of that. However, it is fact that for the charges of the coach Ferguson nothing has somehow run in these 2 last matches just like they wanted it. Primarily in the defence, which has by the way been its trademark already for a long time. It gives United many injured, but if we know that at these hurt Vidic, Sampling, Evans and Arnott Fabio in this last row already for some time while Ferdinand and Raphael are also weak, this is surely then one of the founders for such a bad game, and that the a little worse form of the gatekeepers also contributes Deji and Lindegaard to it. Because of this it is not also sure of Ferguson whom he will give the precedence of the 2 in such an important game, while the rest also will quite certainly of the team experience certain changes. The young go-getter Hernandez and midfield players who had long time to fight with an uncomfortable injury could therefore come back exactly like their best player Rooney into the first team differently. He will get probably a little more defensive tasks since the injured midfield players still are not Cleverley, Fletcher and Young. Expected list: United, Deji, Valencia, Jones, Ferdinand, Evra, Carrick, Anderson, Park, Nani, Rooney, Hernandez. Although the current English master is very shaken for certain after 2 championship defeats in consequence, the meeting always represents with the town rival something special, primarily when only a game is played, as it is the case in the FA Cup, so that can expect like a much bigger resistance of the guests than in the Premier League when they collected a 6-1 home defeat. We primarily think here of their defence row, which should finally hand in a game on high standard. We do not expect any too offensive approach of the hosts on the other side, so that a tip seems somehow very real to us on a goal-poor game.